Welcome everyone. I think I know all of you. I'm Lynn Stauffer, Chair of the Computer Science Department, and this is our chance to get together and celebrate some of our accomplishments of our students and be a little social and have some fun. We hope you're having enough pizza. It looks like we've got enough for everybody, and a few more drinks this time, so maybe we're better off. Part of what we want to do today is recognize the students that are graduating this term. And so who is that? Is anyone here that's graduating? Maybe you could stand up. Is there anyone? Ah. It's on that side of the room. There's some about this side of the room. Hey, let's give these folks a round of applause. It turns out that not only are these folks are graduating, but there are some honors that are bestowed upon graduates at this time of the year. Amongst those you may have heard of things that are like cum laude or magna cum laude or summa cum laude. That has to do with the student's GPA overall on campus. Okay, so I'm not sure what distinctions in terms of that our grads have gotten, but it's also our honor as a department to distinguish some of our grads for even other reasons. So it's called a graduation with distinction honor, and these folks are chosen by the faculty within the department, and we are pretty tough on the criteria. So for example, they have to have a good GPA in the computer science curriculum. So you know what a trick that is to do. But they can't just be a 4.0. That doesn't work, right? Then on top of that, they have to have been sort of an active member of the department. Service, but service can take sort of a lot of different roles. It might be involved in extracurricular projects, giving talks up here, being involved in the club, or the Women in Computer Science Club, lots of different capacities. But beyond that, a person needs to demonstrate that they've gone beyond just taking courses, just doing these extra things, but they have some extra knowledge or some extra something that they offer to the field. So it's one of our really great pleasures to do this, but you'd be amazed how tough it is to draw those lines around who is going to get this award and who we can recognize. So we're going to start by recognizing our graduates with distinction, and to do that I'm hoping we could get our faculty up here, and also I'll announce the folks. We have certificates for them here, and I'll call everyone's name. All right, so the first name is, the first person is Jason Grigori. Now Jason isn't here, and he was really sorry that he couldn't be. He emailed me last night. But for those of you who don't know Jason, he is involved in a lot of various things. He's working on a project with Dr. Revoir right now. What is he doing? Can you remind me?
He's building kind of a mini WebCT for CS that lets you do stuff like online submission and compilation of programming projects.
Right, right. And then you may remember that Jason was one of the speakers last week. He was part of the My SSU app building that he's doing in Dr. Kushesh's 470. So Jason had to be at a work commitment today, so he couldn't be here. So for Jason, I still want to give him a round of applause. So let's please do that even in his absence. So if you see Jason, tell him that we missed him very much. All right, so our other three grads with distinction, we'll start with Tim Dawson. So Tim, can you please come up? All right, so here you go, Tim. And the idea is you're going to shake everyone's hand and walk down the line and be recognized. And so does anyone want to share what they think Tim's done for the department? Ben.
I know he definitely helped out like everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Tim, I had in one of I don't get to have as many of you in the classroom as I'd like to, but I had Tim a while back in CS 252, which involves doing some lower level work, and part of it is doing some coding and assembly. You know, some people don't necessarily enjoy that, and some people really do. And I just had so much fun having Tim in that class, because when I would say something like, you don't really have to, but I want to. He would really want to take on some of those extra challenges and really get into it. So it was my pleasure to have him in class, just because I knew he added this vibe to the classroom that encouraged so many students to tackle problems that, get around folks who are just like, nah, Instead, he's like, yeah, let's try that. It was great. So he's also been working on, you saw his face last week as well. Do you remember what he was presenting on? He and Rich were doing an iPhone app, okay? And so he's doing a lot of that with Ravi. Is that right, Ravi? You're working with him. And so Tim has brought a lot to the department. We just really want to thank you, Tim, for doing that. And so we will, let's give him a round of applause. All right. Our next grad with distinction is Scotty Peters. There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. All right. There you go. This is a really big deal for us. I mean, I know how hard you work, but you know what? The faculty up here, we work really hard too. And part of what we do is we want to make you successful and help you be successful. And so I think for us, this is a really proud moment. And so, Scotty, what would you say you've done in the department? Why do you think you were recognized in this way?
I'd say pretty much number one was my contribution to the contest for the game team program.
So you were a competitor, huh?
I was. We were very competitive.
So that's something Dr. Watts has done, is the programming team. So has Scotty been on the team just once, or?
Just once.
Just once, yeah.
Okay.
It was enough, though.
Yeah, so we also know other things, Jake, that we get from Scotty. Can you think of something else? How about like the top grades in class? I know that he always like, oh gosh, don't say that. But very stellar student as well. I mean, others as well. I'm not just saying one category applies to one student or the other. Of course, they're all outstanding. But yeah. All right, Scotty. Well, thank you, Scotty. That's terrific. All right, and our next grad with distinction is Ben Morrison. There you go. Your certificate. Now wait, he's going to take our picture.
And I am completely hidden.
Here, let's go over here, and we'll do it again.
All right, Ben. All right, so I know as Ben walks down the line here and is recognized by the faculty, I don't think there's a person in the room who hasn't somehow been touched by what Ben has done with the department. And from my point of view, I value him for lots of reasons, but a biggie is that he helped a lot of students in the 115 courses with their intro programming, and that class can be so tricky for a lot of students, and there are hurdles at times that you just need someone to kind of get you past, and Ben has been really instrumental in doing that and doing it in a kind way and helping a lot of students. So that's part of what he's done. What else is he doing? Anybody? Dr. Rivoire may know of something.
So another way that Ben's work has touched us is that a lot of you have seen the machines he has been building and measuring in the special projects room for his capstone project, which we'll talk about next week, which is really exciting.
Yes.
Don't forget the crazy problems I come up with.
Okay, yeah. So in terms of special insight in the classroom, which is that other criterion, I taught a class a year ago on parallel programming, which used a lot of experimental platforms, and I always hesitate to do that because sometimes they're not as robust as platforms that have been in use for a while. And as a student, I know I was like, oh my god, my own code is bad enough. Now I have to debug the compiler. You're joking. But Ben's like, I got this weird error. Isn't this amazing? And he's all for it. Like, he's out there to find the strangest, craziest things he can find, and that's awesome.
It was like adding zero made the product zero. It was crazy.
Your variables are supposed to retain their values unless you mess with them explicitly. Yeah, not always true.
All right, well, thank you, Ben. Congratulations. So congrats to our grads. Part of what they'll be doing in the next bit here is commencement's on May 29th. It's on Saturday. They'll be part of the morning ceremony that I think starts at 9. Is that right? They'll get dressed up in the regalia, the black gowns and the caps, and the faculty will be there as well at the commencement. So it's a really special day for everyone and their family. So non-grads, you're welcome to be a part of that day. But for the grads that will be there, part of our tradition is that we gather on the steps outside of Darwin Hall and we take pictures right after the ceremony. The tricky thing is trying to gather people in the madness of that day. And so we've tried to just tell folks, just walk straight. Even if your grandmother's pulling you by the shoulder, just ignore her and walk straight over to these stairs and text her later and tell her, hey, meet me over here. But we want to try to get folks sort of directly there because then people just kind of disperse and we don't see anybody after that. So if we get the grads to the stairs as quickly as possible from the graduation ceremonies, then we'll take pictures and have some fun. There's a reception there as well, usually cookies and that kind of thing. Tim, you've been part of setting that up in the past, right? Yeah. So part of what Tim did was he worked on campus in, what do you call it, catering services, and so he did part of that. All right. What's the next piece? Well, I'm hoping Dr. Kushesh will help me with this next piece, and the next piece is recognizing our computer club officers. And part of that, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Kushesh, in a moment here, but part of that computer club is that it is a student chapter of the Association for Computing Machinery. So many of you, I hope, know about the ACM. It's our professional organization for computer scientists. And we strongly encourage our students to become members of that. There are a lot of resources available through it. And membership is very inexpensive. I'm not positive like what the current, yeah, $19, something like that. And so I brought a few of these to really encourage you to start taking that next step into the professional aspects of the field. And they have a postage paid envelope here, so I'll include these up here. And then please ask Dr. Kushesh to help me with these certificates for officers here. Let's see. So I think that's the group here.
Just a few words about the Computer Science Club. We really appreciate all the hard work that they put into staging different events, organizing events, kind of having a different side to our department. The faculty usually are focused on education, and the Computer Science Club is more focused on other aspects of being a computer scientist, and also, more importantly, being part of the computer science department. They truly make it possible for our students to feel that they do have a department, that they do have a home, they do have a place where they can go and have fun together. And of course, they're known for their LAN parties. Not quite sure what happens during those nights, but lots of fun. They put a lot of work into it. They take it seriously. They put a lot of work into it behind the scenes. And of course, then our alumni and other people on campus and our students join the party and have fun. But it is their hard work that makes it possible. We appreciate that. We truly appreciate that. And like Dr. Stauffer said earlier, we do cherish education. We want you to all be successful. At the same time, we also value the work that the Computer Science Club puts into making us look better, making our department be a better place. It is the type of work that goes sometimes unnoticed, and I would like to encourage you to participate in the events that they stage.
Great. Yes, let's do.
Michael Winnett, the president of the club. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate you. Michael has been really instrumental this year in making the club, our club, to be as good as it was and continue to be good.
I tried, I'm sorry. It was worth a shot.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Anthony Cavallero, our treasurer. He has been our really vice president this time, and he's going to be our treasurer next time around, next year. Forrest Horvath. So much. We appreciate it. Of course, Forrest has staged our events, organized our events. He's the person that runs around and puts up posters, puts together posters. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to say one other thing about Forrest. Last year, I think, Glenn Carter decided he wanted to have a programming lab for the CS 101 classes, and he asked me for some programs, and I went back and looked for programs that all of you had done, and selected one that Forrest did in 115 as an excellent example of what you could do as a programmer in our program. So, congratulations. Yay,
Lots of creative talent he has. David Turover. David, thank you so much. We appreciate your help. Really. David has been our club secretary, and he actually takes notes and sends the club agenda out, notes out. It's really wonderful that he puts so much work into it and keeps record of our activities within our club. We thank him for his contribution.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, the next group that we'd like to recognize are Women in Computer Science Club officers. So I'm hoping I can ask Dr. Watts, the faculty advisor for the club, to take that on.
Okay, so Women in Computer Science is a club and a national organization that is designed to promote women's activities in computer science. You don't have to be female to join it, so we do have some of the male members of our department in there. But it's been very active. One of the things that they did was nostalgic game night. And did you do a board game night too?
Yeah.
This year? Yeah. And one of the things that will be coming up is a potluck evening with desserts and appetizers and things like that, which will be held at Dr. Stauffer's house, but for both the current students and the alumni of the Women in Computer Science group. So I'd like to recognize Stephanie Schmidt, who has been congratulations. And Stephanie will be the president again next year, too.
Congratulations. Thank you for all your
And
work.
Carissa, it doesn't look like Carissa's here. Carissa is the vice president and has been very active. And then the third officer this year, but there will be a fourth officer next year, too, is Leslie Prince, who is the club treasurer.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Christy, you're going to have to be an officer next year.
Who's going to be the...
Katie.
Katie, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Katie's not here. Okay.
Katie hasn't been there.
Well, I believe that is it for the extent of the awards, unless I forget something. All right. Well, next Thursday, the 20th, we're going to have a session of student presentations again. There will be Ben Morrison presenting on his energy studies of the GPU, and then there will be 4 groups presenting from Dr. Kushesh's 470 on the iPhone development that they've been doing. So, and Dr. Kushesh will be the MC.
We really want you here, and everybody. We want you to come here and support your fellow students.
And there's pizza.
Okay? Minor issues, kind of incentives here and there.
All right, great.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
nice job. Thank you.